Hello, welcome to the Napanee Public Library. We are going to be starting Book Bites Season 2, Episode 5 here pretty quickly. We're going to share our post here so that we can see if you guys comment. Today we're going to be talking about some biographies and some memoirs, and then the differences between the two. And then you can let us know what books you've read, what ones you want us to add to our hold shelf for you with your name on them. If any of them pique your interest. So if you have friends or family that also enjoy this genre or genres, feel free to share our live video post so that they can also see the content that we're sharing today. It is going to be saved, so if you don't get a chance to watch the whole thing, that's fine. Joining me today is Pat.
Hello.
She has been a library staff member for
over 15 years.
Yeah, I'd say a long time. So we're definitely familiar faces here in the library, but we're going to be sharing what we do in our free time, which is read. Go figure, librarians who read. Like always with Book Bites, if you hear or see a book that piques your interest, let us know. You can comment live here. You can also call us on the phone, whatever means works for you. Let us know what you want. We can put it on hold for you and you can come in and pick it up. I'm excited that since our last episode, we are open full regular hours. Here we're back open 7 days a week. So if you need anything, let us know. And again, we will be happy to pull these items for you. They will be cleaned up, checked in, and then be available pretty quickly thereafter. Before we get started, I did want to share a resource. If you visit our new bookshelf, which is in the corridor there off that main desk, here in the library, you'll often see Book Page. This is a magazine publication that comes to us every single month. And I was pretty excited because we already had planned on talking about biographies and memoirs before this one came out. But the March issue, it has Memoir March as their theme. And the way this magazine works is it's a magazine, but it's content heavy on new publications, new releases. And then these are items that we'll have in our collection. They'll also be items that might be in our digital catalog, or if it's something you want to read and we don't have it, we can try to get it for you. So this is a definite cool resource that we have every single month. We get multiple copies, so you can actually physically take one of these with you, mark in it, write in it, and keep it. So this is the newest issue that's on our bookshelf. Okay, Miss Pat, you ready to talk about biographies and memoirs?
Yes.
Do you know what the difference is?
I do.
You do?
I
Okay.
do.
For those of you who don't, biographies and memoirs kind of seem like, what do you say? They're interchangeable. Yeah, they seem interchangeable. And oftentimes, like when you're just generically speaking, it's fine. It's somebody's story, and that is exactly what that is. But if you wanted to be specific, biography is going to be like a timeline on somebody's life. So beginning to end or beginning to current day. And that's the best way I can describe it. It's in a timeline. A memoir is kind of going to be more like short stories, and they can also be fragmented. They can be like memories of the way that the person who's telling it remembers it. So if it went through a fact checker, somebody else could remember it in a different way, but it can be very flexible. So they could be a child in one portion of the story, and then they're married in another portion, and then they're a teenager, and it's not written in a timeline way. So also in our collection, I'll definitely point out that some of the books that we're talking about today are not going to be considered biographies and where they're located in our collection. So they could be, because of the content, be housed where the subject matter is. So I'll try to point those out, but if I don't answer those questions, please give us a shout, let us know. But the titles, we can look them up in the catalog, and then we can point you in the right direction, because they're not all specifically going to be on our new bookshelf. Okay, so one of my favorites that I've already read this year, this is one that I actually saw in numerous publications, kind of like Book Page, emails from publishers, and so I put in a request for this one long before it was published and was one of the first people to get it. This is Loretta Lynn's Me and Patsy Kicking Up Dust. And it's the friendship that Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline had when they had their shared time in Nashville. I am a huge country music fan, and I don't mean like today's country, it's okay, but I like my mom and dad's country and my grandma and grandpa's country. And so this story to me is like it just brought back lots of memories. This one was fantastic. And like, you know, or you just assume that all people that live in the same place and that are part of the same world will know each other, and that's totally a misconception. But in this case, Patsy and Loretta Lynn, they actually were friends, and they mentored each other, and goodness, there's like a whole scene in here where one is teaching the other how to shave her legs because she didn't know. And so like, oh, this book, definite heartstrings, and they like give references to songs. So I would like put down my book and then open up my Spotify and like listen to the song. Oh yeah, I remember that song. And then it was just so good. So this is me and Patsy Kicking Up Dust, my friendship with Patsy Cline. It is going to be in our biography section here in our stacks. We also have it on Libby and Overdrive as an e-audiobook, so you can listen to them, read it. And we have it on physical CDs if you want it on a book on CD here in our collection. Have you read that one?
I don't like country music, so
Oh,
no.
shame. Okay, I know the next one you have read.
I have read.
This was the first book that I read in 2020, I think.
I think so.
So this is She Came to Slay, The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman. Like, I only ever knew of her as far as like the Underground Railroad. This book is a true biography. It starts before she was born. It talks about her grandparents and then her parents and then the life and the family that she was born into and the catalyst that she was as a young child and what she endured to give her the drive that then she becomes the Harriet Tubman that we know from history books. So this is like a pre-her biography all the way through her death. And you know, they don't talk about how she was a spy in the Civil War. It doesn't talk about how she was a nurse. It doesn't talk about like how she was smashed over the head. I remember that one scene where it talked about she always had a misformed head after being like persecuted in a general store. Like she was hurt and she never had any care to get that taken care of. So her head was misshapen the rest of her life. This story to me, it was like, oh my word, how come not everybody talks about what a fantastic woman she was and the life that she endured. So this is She Came to Slay, The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman by Erica Armstrong Dunbar. We have this one in a physical book that I'm holding here. We also have it as an e-book on Overdrive and Libby.
Yep.
So do you have any memories of this book when you read it?
Perfect for Women's History Month.
Yes,
Ooh,
perfect.
Yes,
for
perfect for
Women's
Women's History Month.
She's just a fabulous woman. You don't realize all that she's done until you read a book, and then it's like, wow, she's done so much more than what we thought
Yeah.
But I remember learning about her.
Yeah,
in
I
school.
actually wrote in my review on Goodreads about how one night she made 50 pies. 50! Like, I can't make a single solid frozen pie and have it taste halfway decent. 50 pies in a night. So really cool stuff. As we're talking today, another reminder that if you see anything that you like here, let us know in the comments or you can give us a call. We'd be happy to pull those items aside for you and you can pick them up at your convenience. You want to share one of yours now?
Okay. This one is a fabulous book. It's actually not in the biography section. It is in the mental health section. It's the story of the Galvin family who live in Colorado. It's a family of a mom and a dad, 10 boys and 2 girls, and 6 of the older boys have developed schizophrenia as they grew older. So the story deals with their life and how this family has dealt with 6 of their family members having schizophrenia, and they are a perfect case study. The I have to read my notes. The National Institute of Mental Health actually uses this family to do research because they're trying to figure out how this family of 10 to 12 kids, how they grew up the same. 6 of them have schizophrenia, 6 of them are just fine. So it is in our 616 section, like I said, the mental health. It's in the book form like this, or ebook or e-audio on Overdrive or Libby.
Pretty cool.
And it's very, I like sciencey stuff, and there's a lot of sciencey stuff in it. So if you're not a big fan of sciencey stuff, might not be the book for you, but I found it fascinating.
So I have not read that one, but I have it on my list to read because on one of our reading challenges here at the library, we have to read a book about mental health.
Yes. Oh,
And so this would be perfect for that.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for our Expand Your Horizons mental health. Yep.
So I have a book kind of similar to that one. This one, goodness, I feel like there was a time when everybody was reading it. This is The
So
Immortal
good.
Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Sloak. It's a lot like that one. There's
It is.
lots of science, there's history behind it. This one is going to be found in the exact same section because of the mental health side, the healthcare portion of it. It's not going to be in the biography section, but you really get to know Henrietta Lacks and her family. And I feel like everybody kind of knows, so I'm not really giving it away. I hope I don't give this story away by sharing this. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there you go. Hashtag spoiler alert. This one, it's a historical account of what happened to a lady who was underprivileged, misrepresented, was not clued into what was happening to her. So she was sick. She went to the doctor's office. During an examination, she was definitely taken advantage of, and the doctors, they took cells out of her uterus, like they scraped cells out of her uterus and they kept them. And she did not know that this was happening, didn't have any idea that they were doing anything other than helping her.
Mm-hmm.
They harvested these cells, and then as they learned more and more about them and some of the things that they could do with these cells, they go on to call them HeLa, H-E-L-A, based on her name, Henrietta Lacks, so it's the first couple letters of her name. And these HeLa cells, they multiply without changing. And what is that word? Morph?
They didn't morph.
They don't morph.
Yeah.
Mitosis?
No. They stay the same. So
They stay the same, yeah.
So yeah, they don't morph into a different type of cell.
Yeah. So they stay the same. And so because they're reproducing, they can keep doing more and more experiments on the exact same cells without them changing. And they started making money. And then they started making a lot of money. And these physicians are, they're capitalizing on something that does not belong to them. These cells, they were taken from Henrietta Lacks without her permission, and they became extremely, extremely rich. So decades later, Henrietta is long gone. Her kids find out about this whole thing, and they go to war for her. Like,
Yeah,
they want what's hers to be given the recognition that it deserves, and the achievements that have come to pass from these cells. They want her to have that recognition. This is a book that, again, like Hidden Valley Road, full of science, but then you're invested in it physically, mentally. And this book has been all over the place. It even was turned into a movie. So we have the physical book. We also have it in large print, which means the text is larger. We have it as an ebook on Libby and Overdrive, and then the movie that it was based on is also in our collection. And I believe Oprah Winfrey
Yes.
is in the movie. I have not seen it. And so, I don't know. If you want a book that makes you think and appreciate what you have and where you come from and all that, this might be the book for you.
And another good one for Women's History Month.
Yes.
Yes, it is. You're good. Thanks for being our shout out. Do we have any comments or questions so far? Nothing?
Not yet.
No. Okay, so that one had a lot of hubbub. The next one that I have also is pretty self-standing as far as like word of mouth. This book got around. Educated by Tara Westover was all over the place. Everybody was reading it. The wait list was 6 months long. We could not keep it on the shelf. This book, it's a memoir, so it's told from her perspective. Tara was raised on a farm away from civilization, not by, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Her parents made the choice to keep them from civilization, to keep them from being impacted by the world that they live in. They totally built up these walls around their town, their community, their home, their land, so that nobody could infiltrate and give opinions or anything of the outside world.
They lived off the grid. I mean,
Yes.
they truly did.
Truly. That's the
Truly
perfect way
lived
of
off
saying
the
it.
grid.
So, in this story, Tara is very frank that her family, they don't want to leave a mark. Off the grid is perfect. So they don't know when she was born. She doesn't have a birth certificate. They don't know how old she is. They never send her to school. The world, as everyone knows it, Tara does not exist, and her siblings do not exist. So when something goes wrong, nobody knows that there's a person that could be having a problem. This story, holy cow, is amazing, and it deserves all the accolades that it got. It's gotten numerous awards, and it really, again, makes you think about privilege and what it means to take your own destiny in your hands and to change what your future could be for yourself and fight for what you believe in. This one was excellent. If you liked this book, and chances are you might have already read it, we have it in multiple formats here in the library. If you liked this book, I have a new one for you. This is Stephanie Thornton Pimail's new book. This one just came out in the last couple of months. This is American Daughter. Much like Educated, it is a memoir, and it centers around one child in a group, or in a sibling set, who falls between the cracks. Like, in every single sense of the word, the welfare system, the healthcare system, the mental health system, everybody fails this family. And for 50 years, she never told anybody but her husband what her childhood was like. And being raised by a mother that had her own mental health issues and keeping the kids from school. They lived in a car for a while. Like, that's where it starts. Have you read this
No,
one?
I haven't. It's on my list.
Oh my gosh. This one, I honestly, I think I read this one in less than 24 hours. Like, I could not put it down. Excellent story. So again, if you liked Educated, this is definitely one that you should have on your radar. It's going to be currently on our new bookshelf because we've just gotten it into our collection. Besides the regular book, we also have it as an e-audio book on Libby and Overdrive.
Martha said, I loved Educated. The audiobook was awesome. And then Pam said she also read Educated and she loved it.
Oh, good. Okay, so make sure you guys get this one on your radar. And is it, if you are doing Expand Your Horizons, count this as your recommendation from a friend. I'm telling you, you should read this book. Okay, share another one.
Okay, let's see.
Pat, before you do that, can you share how to sign up for Expand Your Horizons?
Oh, sure. If you go to our website, there is a link there that says Expand Your Horizons. It's under the Beanstack.
Yeah, it's under winter reading.
Under winter reading, you just log into Beanstack, log into that. There's 20-some tasks to do. They're not all reading. Some of them are doing like a Napanee library activity. Can't remember what they all are, but they're very broad and general this year. So, like, read a story of mental health. Read something that somebody recommended to you. Read a book from the decade you were born.
So even watching this program would be something
That would be, if you've never done it before,
counts
that would count.
Yeah.
for an Expand Your Horizons task. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about, we don't have the actual book here. We have, I listened to this on ebook or e-audio from Libby. So this is called No Barriers, A Man's Journey to Kayak the Grand Canyon by Eric Weinmeyer. This is a gentleman who is blind, and he has climbed Mount Everest. And so he was told, don't let that be your crowning glory, making it to Mount Everest. Keep pushing yourself. So as a blind man, he was thinking, what is something that would be really difficult for me to do? So he decided to go kayaking down the Grand Canyon. Can't see anything, solo kayak, all by himself, nobody with him. So that is what he did. And he has now started an organization called No Barriers that helps people in all kinds of different situations. I think it'd be really cool to do. But they have a place, and I can't remember where it's at. But you can actually go there. They have leadership programs and programs for people with disabilities, all kinds of things that you could go do. So I found him very fascinating. Just thinking, water scares me. I have a very, very good, healthy fear of the water. And the fact that he went kayaking all by himself, not being able to see the rocks, not being able to see anything, was just fabulous. Because I've gone whitewater rafting, and I'm boat with 6, 8 other people. So I can't imagine doing this all by yourself.
I remember when you read this book and you were talking about it, but I didn't realize he was solo.
Yes, he was solo.
I just figured,
he had people
he had a
around
senior
him.
dog with him or something like that.
He has people around him, but he was in the kayak all by himself.
Oh my goodness.
As he did this. So,
okay.
if you want to be inspired, read his book. He has several other books out there too. Or listen, since we don't have the book here, you can get a book through Interlibrary Loan, because I'm sure there's other libraries that have this book.
Okay. Want to do another one?
Oh. Well, okay. So we go from Eric to Charles Manson. I'm going to have a very eclectic.
Okay, but I feel like I already know everything there is to know about Charles Manson. Prove me wrong.
Did you know that he lived in a boys' home in Terre Haute, Indiana for a while?
That's too close to here. No, I did not know that.
So he did.
Okay.
And this is the story of his life. Not the story of Helter Skelter, but the story of his life. And Jeff Gwynne is just an excellent writer. So you find out about him he grew up kind of in the Cincinnati area between Kentucky and Ohio, back and forth. He went to, like I said, a boys' home in Terre Haute, and ends up then in prison after the whole Helter Skelter thing.
Is this a biography or a memoir?
This is a biography.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he doesn't write it himself.
So
Okay.
yes, it's not an autobiography. But one of the other things that I always found interesting is that while he was in prison, he went and did, I can't think of the guy's name. The guy, the guy who has Dale Carnegie classes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he learned what he needed to from Dale Carnegie classes, and he was able to use that then to influence the people in his lives, and that, so.
Oh, that's so horrible.
So it's a fascinating book. It does not dwell on the Helter Skelter part of it. It dwells on his actual life. So if you're interested in reading a little bit more about Charlie, this would be a good book.
Is that one, do you also think that's kind of mental health? Or it touches on it, but it's not like...
Yeah, he does have, there's no way to say he doesn't have any mental health issues. So
Okay, but if I wanted a book for my Expand Your Horizons task that's mental health, probably not this one.
Probably not that one.
Okay.
Probably not.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's too close to home. I read, that was a couple years ago now, and I'm totally drawing a blank on the name of the book. The shooting guy that robbed all the banks.
John Dillinger?
Yes, I read the John Dillinger biography. And that one, I had no idea how close he came.
Yes,
Like, he came
very
through
close,
Napanee.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, freaky. Okay, let's go back to people that we'll probably never meet in real life. Here. Okay, Tim McGraw. Did you see? I got a kind of a theme going on here. I really like my country music. Tim McGraw, oh, swoon. He's got a daughter named Maggie, by the way. Yeah, I had to know. Yeah. Okay, so this, I'm going to talk about this book because it does kind of talk about what has influenced him in his life, but this one is actually going to be categorized under like mind and health and body, because this is called Grit and Grace, but it's train your mind, train the body, own your life. And if you know any history on Tim McGraw, he had a huge drinking problem, had a beer gut, had an amazing voice, still has an amazing voice, but he made the choice, something's got to change. And now look at him. Look kind of swanky, right? So this is the story about what he has done in his lifestyle in his 50s to change his outlook on life. And this book is fantastic. It has lots of full color images in it. And then it has like little tidbits about, you know, his marriage with Faith, some of the things that he does every day, but it's not just that. So you get those biography, memoir-ish memories, but then you also get like his workouts, and there's recipes in here for some of his favorite foods, and it talks about the lifestyle that he has with his crew, not just his band, but his whole crew, and what they do to stay in shape on the road, because, you know, eating at greasy dinner joints would be super easy if you're on the road. But he goes to the part of the book where he's even talking about how they bought an extra semi to travel and tour with them that has all of their equipment
Wow.
on it. So like they drive around with tractor tires in the back of this semi so that when they get out, they can like push tractor tires around an empty parking lot. Isn't that so cool? I probably couldn't do that. But, oh, here you go. Grit and Grace. We have this one as a book, a large print book, a book on CD, and an e-audio book. So lots of formats. If you want to make photocopies of the recipes, obviously you would want a physical book to do that. But, or if you just want to look at the pictures. So that one's kind of fun. This is the probably most recent biography that I read. This one I read last week. If you are familiar with Gary Paulson at all, he has written,
His most famous would be Hatchet.
yeah, like at least 50 books. Mostly would be like children's and middle grade.
Yep.
There are other biographies about him. This one is an autobiography. And it talks about, like, as a young boy, what it was like growing up with a single mother who didn't make good choices.
That's a good way of putting it.
Didn't make good choices. And then how she was able to manipulate and use him to get to where she wanted to be. So now he's an old man now, okay? So Gary Paulson, he is not a young dude. So we're talking like many, many decades ago. As a 5-year-old, okay? That's just 5 little fingers, you guys. As a 5-year-old, his mother put him on a train all by himself and sent him to go live with relatives.
So from Chicago to Minnesota.
Yeah, so he's on this train, and it's in the middle of a war, so there's all these wounded soldiers on this train as a 5-year-old, and he's traveling by himself, and it was almost like she mailed him.
Yeah.
Like she mailed him to these relatives. Got off the train, he had to find somebody that then, like, the mailman, like, delivered him to this
To his
relative's
relative.
house. And that was like, oh my gosh, you just wanted to bawl because he finally was in a place that, like, impacted him in a positive way. And then you look and you're like, I'm only 2/3 through. Something's gonna give, right? And it does. His mom comes back, takes him from this loving, caring family who has instilled so many values about nature and the world around him that impact him for the rest of his life. And honestly, they save him. Some of the things that they taught him as a 5- and 6-year-old boy, they save him later on. Because, you know, if he can't find food, he knows how to go fish and how to prepare his fish. He knows how to start a fire so that he can cook his own meals. Oh my word, if you have read any of his books, you really wonder about the survival side of it and how he can write from such a true standpoint. And it's because of his life. I mean, like, there really is a plane crash.
Yes.
And then it shows up in Hatchet and he has to survive, and just a really good book. This one is going to be found in our lower level children's section. So it's meant for younger kids, but I'm 33 and I read it and I really liked it.
And I'm a lot older than that, and I read it too.
And this was the book that I read that was recommended from a coworker. So this one went on my Expand Your Horizons thing. So this is Gone to the Woods, Surviving a Lost Childhood. We have this one as a physical book, and we also have it as an e-audio book on Libby and Overdrive. Do you want to be put on hold for it? Let us know. Any of these books, we'd be happy to set aside for you, and you can pick them up at your convenience. What you
Do
got?
we need to keep going? Okay. So this one's a little bit sad, but this is also a good mental health one. So this is what I wrote on Goodreads when I read it. So many times we look at other people's lives and think everything is perfect. This is a book about one such person. We look at her life and it looks perfect. She was Maddie was a gifted high school athlete. She loved soccer and running. She chose to go to Penn State on a running scholarship instead of Lehigh University on a soccer scholarship. But Maddie decided she hated Penn State. She hated everything about Penn State. And she started to voice her concerns. She talked to her family. She talked to her friends. She wanted to quit track, but everybody talked her into it. Oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Well, for Maddie, it didn't get better. So this story is then told through interviews with her parents and her friends and through social media posts. And at the end of the book, there's a list of resources offered to people who are struggling with depression. We have it in book form. We also have it on e-audio on Overdrive. It's a sad book to read, but I think it's one we need to read because like I said, we look at other people's life and we think, oh, they're flying through life, piece of cake. We don't realize what is going on in other people's lives. Mm-hmm. So, and depression is, so mental health, if you need a mental health book for Expand Your Horizons, this would be another one. There's also another book thing that I'm involved in. This is another one. That we're supposed to read a book about an athlete. Unfortunately, I've already read it, so I can't count it, and then to end on a good note, good old Tim Conway. This is just a laugh out loud book. He is super funny. He talks about stories about his dad are hilarious. His dad wired the doorbell incorrectly, so it hummed all the time until somebody rang the doorbell and then it was quiet. So this is fun stories from childhood up through the Carol Burnett show and past. So, and we just have it in book form here at the library, but it's a fun one to read. I laughed out loud when I read it.
That's good.
So that's it.
Good. Just on my lunch break today, I started this one. That sounds fun. The Joys of Being an Amateur, The Power of Falling in Love, and Why You Need to Have a Hobby by Annie F. Downs. I have not finished it, obviously. I just started this one. And I guess just to put it simply, she wants us to have fun. So it's based on a podcast that she started. So I guess I will have to let you know how it goes. But this one is part memoir, part empowerment, and it does have a Christian spin to it. So that's what we're reading. Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
You're welcome. We are doing Book Bites with Maggie twice a month, so we will be back again very, very soon here on Wednesday on our Facebook Live channel. Again, if you see any items as you're watching this, either as a delay, let us know. We can still put items on hold for you and get those available. If you need help with Libby or Overdrive, staff are trained to teach you how to use that service. If you want to have access to the digital content, we're happy to help. Anything else that people need to know?
Just read.
Yes, we'd love to see you. The doors are open. Come see us. And until next time, thanks.